Jobs are disappearing fast, and so is the optimism for those who are out of work. So, where do you find that new job? Here to get us motivated and moving, Chester Elton. He's the author of The Carrot Principle. He's joining us now from New York with some ideas, some really good ones, no pressure, about where to begin. And that's just it, Chester. You know, today we've been putting this number out there. 71,000 people have lost their jobs. It's going to be more, just in the space of about 24 hours. There's going to be thousands more before this day is through as well. Where do you start? How do you keep that good attitude? What is your first step if you have lost your job?
Well, that's the key. The first step is really keep a great attitude. You know, a lot of people have lost their jobs, so don't be embarrassed. Don't feel bad about it. Take a look at your skill set and say, okay, look, I can do this. I'm of the opinion that when something really bad like this happens and all this transition, it creates huge opportunity. So don't look at it as being a bad thing. Look at it as an opportunistic thing. I think that's where you've got to start. That's the first thing.
Okay. I mean, that would be great. And we don't want to belabor the point because we want to get to the email questions, but it's hard. It's scary. I mean, when this happens, especially if you've never lost a job before, I mean, you are terrified. Let's talk specifically to some of these emails that we're getting because we were trying to get people to let us know what their concerns are.
Right.
And we directly want to hear from Candy Moore, this one that says, please speak about people who are over 50 and still need to work 10 more years. Where are the jobs for us? We've had long careers in one profession, usually that's the case, and cannot afford to go back to college and wait for a degree. It's a really good point.
It's a great point. In fact, I just turned 50, so it speaks very well to me. But here's the thing. If you've had a good long career, you've developed some great skills that are really of value out there. So don't worry that you maybe don't know exactly that industry. Take a look at your resume with your skill set and say, okay, I'm going to go for this now. You know, that you've got experience really puts you ahead of the pack. People are looking for people that can start their jobs and be effective today. So the fact that you've got a lot of experience, I think, is a huge positive. So be very confident about that experience when you're applying for those jobs.
Right, and you got to know how to sell yourself on that regard, too, definitely.
You better believe it.
This one now, Steve, Fort Wayne, Indiana, says, is it best to keep your search down to a few specific jobs you want, or should you consider and apply for pretty much everything that you might have just a remote interest in?
Well, I don't know about remote interest. Find things that you can be passionate about,
yeah.
Things that you believe in, because that'll come across in the interview, and that's where your experience is. So I don't think that you throw this big wide net initially. Go for the places where you know you can add value, and so that in the interview they can say, wow, this person's really passionate about that job. That's going to put you ahead of the pack again.
I think we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. I'm going to keep on trying though anyway, Chester, because some of these emails are really, really good. So this one, Charlene in Oxnard, California wants to know, I was laid off as of December 31st, so obviously very new for her. How do I handle this on my resume?
Listen, a lot of people have been laid off. I wouldn't worry about it one bit. I just go in and say, hey, job transition, I'm available to the market. You're lucky to have me. This is going to be a great opportunity.
All right. Also, this one from Andrew. How long should a resume be? This is a great question because this has kind of changed over the years. How do you know what to highlight?
Well, I would keep the resume really short. The idea for the resume, I think, is to get to the interview. Get in front of them. And by the way, one of the big mistakes people make when they're going out for jobs is they don't leverage their friends. Leverage your inner circle. You know, we think, oh, we're going to go to Monster, we're going to splash it, we're going to start handing out business cards to strangers. Don't do that. Start with the people that care about you the most. It is traumatic. You mentioned if it's the first time you've lost your job. Go to people that really care about you, that believe in you, that can really promote you. Use your inner network. Somehow we think we can't do this we have to do it by ourselves. Don't. Give your good friends the opportunity to help you. If your best friend asked you for help, Heidi, would you help him?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
if I
leverage,
could.
Yeah, if you could, exactly. And if you couldn't, you've got a circle of friends that can help them. So start where you can get your resume to the point to get the interview. Do the research. Find a friend who knows a friend that can get you in and leverage that. This blast email stuff, this monster stuff, yeah, I guess you can, but it would be so much better that if I was applying for a job at CNN to have you say, hey, I know Heidi, she's going to introduce me. That's a huge advantage.
She's my neighbor.
Leverage your friend. Yeah, she lives in Summit, New Jersey. I love that.
All right, Chester, sure do appreciate it. Love your energy. Chester Elton, and the book is The Carrot Principle. Sure do appreciate it, and I'm sure our viewers do with all those emails today. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. You bet.